So 15 years ago, I made a weird investment that changed everything. Everyone around me was trading like all the next thing. Everyone thinks crypto, stocks, Airbnb, whatever is trending that way is the best to go. I went completely other way. I bought boring businesses. And when I'm saying boring businesses, I'm talking agencies, I'm talking others, deals that we were involved with right now that I call boring are like HVAC, cleaning, auto repair, the one that most people don't post about, right? They're not sexy, but they print cash. And fast forward to today, I supported more than $1 billion worth of transactions. And today, I mean, in my opinion, the way that I view it, it's basically the cheat code. It's the same game as any other entrepreneurial journey, but just much better, right? So um, I think it's much upgraded. You buy boring businesses, you buy and also implement AI, and you can watch profit jumps like 30, 50%. And the reason for that is because most of these companies are running like it's 2009. There's still manual quotes, paper invoices, missed calls. So now with AI doesn't replace those people, it multiplies them, right? So if you ever wanted to buy and own cash flowing assets without knowing how to code or inventing anything or going viral, this is going to be the playbook today that I'm going to share with you, right? And let's start with the first mistake that people make in the process. I think that they go too broad. My view is that you don't need to buy every business. You need to buy one that is repeatable, predictable, and boring, right? So the rules, three rules that I see for those businesses. You want recurring revenue, you want fragmented market, you want low tech adoption. Start there and go deep. Many people try too many things. I think there's value in going sector agnostic just to build confidence, but then the more deep you go, the more credible you will look like, and the more chances you have of just building your network around one thing. So start with one vertical, even if it's just for the next 12 weeks. Learn the language of that sector, learn the pain points, learn the players in the sector. You're not sure what to start with, go for HVAC, plumbing, roofing, dental, marketing agencies, service providers, e-commerce, maybe some light B2B SaaS companies, but don't go for like thinking you need to be the hero founder or heavy regulation sectors. I think you also want to avoid anything that dies when one person quits. So if the business is dependent on one person, don't go into that type of business. Let's move to the next step, which is all about how do you find those deals? Because deal flow is like an oxygen in this process. If you don't have deal flow, you will not be able to buy the business. And you need to analyze a deal to know if a deal is good or not. To be able to analyze a deal, you need to find a deal. So the way that we do it, there's two ways. One of them is outbound, one of them is inbound. As far as outbound, we use a lot of different softwares to find emails, to outreach, and it's either directly to the owner or through brokers, right? We also use LinkedIn a lot. And the second way of getting deals is inbound, right? And when I'm saying inbound, it's basically talking to your network, building network, and then getting leads coming in your way. Like at this point for acquisitions.com, we have many brokers that basically send us deals directly, and it's pretty cool, right? So that's inbound. They send us deals before they hit biz buy sell because they know that we have a list of buyers and they send it to us to look at. And sometimes it can be as simple as just messaging your network, hey, I'm looking to acquire a business in whatever the HVAC space. Do you know anyone who might be interested in selling that business? Send it to everyone you know, and you never know. Like they might be interested in selling their business instead of introducing you to someone else, right? So when you do that, also track everything in some kind of a CRM, even if it's a Google Sheet to start with. Do that. I suggest to aim to do at least 100 proper conversations to find one real good deal. And don't whine about the work. Like if you are not willing to talk to 100 people at least to buy a multi-million-dollar business, then it might not be to you. And by the way, if you want more help, like click the links below. I mean, you could book a call with us and we will help you find deals, analyze deals, and finance the acquisition with equity and debt investors as well. Which moves me to the next step, which is all about, okay, now you found the deal. How do you analyze them and how do you raise capital? So the way and the things you want to ask yourself is, first of all, how involved is the owner? Can you replace him? Can someone else replace him? Can you look at the quality of revenue? Like, is it recurring? Is it a one-time thing? It's a recurring thing. Uh, what's the profitability of that business? If it's SD or EBITDA, you want to know those numbers. And I think you also want to know if there's any single point of failure. So is the business dependent on one supplier, one customer, one employee? If all of those things are going through your filter, then move on. And let's talk money now. The beauty of this game is that you don't need to be rich to buy those businesses. Typical capital stack or deal structure when we buy those businesses is 70 to 80% bank is financing, so debt, many times SBA, and around 10% seller financing, and then the rest is usually with equity partners, right? So that means that it's little to no personal capital. If you don't have too much money to put, that can be the step. So also, you want to keep the seller short term, retain key team members, and remember, you own the business, they operate it, and everyone wins, right? So this is good. Now, what happens after you buy the business? Obviously, you need to go through a proper due diligence after you get an offer accepted. We can introduce you to the right advisors for that. But let's talk about what you do after you buy the business, especially now with AI. The first 100 days are super important. So the first phase, I would say, is the first 10 days. You probably want to understand what the process looks like for the business, like what it takes to get a lead, what it takes to get a sale, what it takes to deliver, and what's the flow of cash looks like. You also want to make sure you have SOPs, or at least to check if there are SOPs. You want to make sure you have all the loggings, all the recordings of previous important conversations. And you want to make sure that there are KPIs for each of the employees. So if it's a whatever, show up rate, closing rate, cycle time, NPS scores, things like that. Like you don't want anyone without an API, without a KPI. And also, when you know the KPI, you'll eventually know if you could scale it with AI. Because if you can't measure it, you cannot improve it. Let's move to phase number two. All right, let's start with what we can do when we want to implement AI, right? So the first thing is get leads. So now with AI, you can create lots of ads with AI, lots of great companies for that. You can make like UGC ads or mascot ads. You can also create dynamic landing pages. At this point, you can also auto-qualify leads through short forms, and you can embed pre-call videos to boost show up. Now, next step to make sure everyone's showing up for the sales call or the pitch, you want to have automated SMS, you want to have AI calling them. Now you have AI agent that can call them. You want to have content all around social media. And yeah, it's always good to also have human in the loop to check everything. When you want to help companies close the sale, you want to record calls, you want to have some kind of a AI transcribes, right? And then AI can also help you find objections, rewrite scripts, rewrite objections, give you feedback on calls. AI can help you generate proposals instantly. AI can help you auto follow up for all the leads that didn't become clients. So you want to implement those things as fast as possible so you have less costs on all your team members. Then how can you help the business automate the delivery? Well, it depends on the business, but for example, for local services like HVAC, dental, etc., you can do AI quoting assistant, route optimization, automated review requests. You can turn footage into like daily shorts or reels. For agencies and media businesses, you can have AI intake bots, AI ideation grids, Slack dashboards. You can create like different sub brands, like having dentist TikTok account or whatnot to dominate different niches. In the e-commerce space, you can have AI customer support to help you like answer faster responses. You can have lower refunds from that. You can have AI upsell nudges. You can have some kind of a forecasting with AI. And of course, an AI mascot can help you build a digital brand ambassador to help you sell. Next thing you can implement is everything back office. So you probably want to automate things eventually, like accounts payable, accounts receivables, invoice reminders, weekly P&L reports. Probably you want to have some kind of an HR AI hiring bot, right, to help with ASIC interviews. Of course, to make sure you have SOPs, libraries for everything. You want to help with legal compliance, permissions, data policies. AI can help you with a lot of those things as well nowadays. What else? Just those things that I just mentioned, literally that alone, if you just increase the business by like 10 plus margin points on like a $1 million door, that's 100,000 extra very, very fast, right? At the 5 time multiples, you basically added 500,000 enterprise value like this from just few implementation of softwares. And remember, AI is not magic, it's leverage. You need to learn how to use it. And yeah, it's a trial and error as well. What not to do, because I mentioned a lot of things, but you don't want to install things like 10 tools at once. You don't want to automate chaos. You don't want to ignore compliance or tone. And to make sure that your team understand everything you're doing. And the reason for you doing it, it's not to let go of them, it's to help them be more productive so they can work on things that they like to do more. And so that they can business, so that the business can scale and pay them more and sustain the business. Yeah, so in a nutshell, here's the process, here's the summary. You need to pick a sector, you need to get your deal flow going, you need to analyze the deal well, you need to finance the deal well, and then you plug in AI. This is the new wealth creation code, in my opinion. It's what's the next few years are going to look like. And it's super leveraged, as good as any private equity model. Uh, Different tools that you need to implement a bit, and you don't need to work harder. You just need to like do smarter work. So don't build business from scratch if you've never done it before. Start buying businesses, implement AI. You'll make things much faster, much better, much more profitable. And you're also going to help yeah, baby boomers retire and be happy and have a great retirement. So hopefully that was valuable for you. Look at the links below and book a call with us. And yeah, we'll see you next. Thank you. Take care.